from a burning apartment building. There was heavy fire coming from a balcony breezeway.
Atlanta Fire's Andre Holmes says 4 adults and 4 children were taken to the hospital in stable condition, with 1 adult suffering minor burns. Investigators are now working to determine a cause. The United Nations is condemning an Israeli strike on Hamas leadership in Qatar today. Correspondent Ramian Asensio says this comes at a significant time for potential ceasefire and hostage negotiation talks.
Senior Hamas leadership had been gathered to discuss those proposals that had been floated from Israel, and in particular from President Trump and the White House.
Israel now says they are suspending their role in peace talks until further notice. Officials in Qatar are calling the strikes cowardly. It has a name that may seem innocent, but a disease spotted here in Georgia can be deadly.
It's called the kissing bug disease, named after its insect host, which likes to bite people on the face. Chagas disease has been found here in Georgia, although not in human cases yet. There's no drug to prevent the parasite, but we can take precautions, including using bug spray to keep the kissing bugs away and seeking medical help if you notice an infection. Early symptoms include swollen eyelids. The disease can spread to the heart, which can be fatal. So far, fewer than 300,000 human cases have been found in the U.S. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
A break for taxpayers in the city of Woodstock. The city council approves what it calls a historic tax decrease for property owners. For the average Woodstock homeowner, the rollback rate would mean a property tax bill of about $760 on a $368,000 home, or a little more than $1,000 on a $500,000 property. Mayor Michael Caldwell says this would be the lowest tax rate Woodstock has had in the last 30 years. Cobb Galleria Center begins a multi-million-dollar renovation today that will close the convention center through January.
The phased project comes with a $190 million price tag. It includes demolition of Galleria specialty shops and second-floor meeting rooms. The convention center's rotunda, ballroom, and common area spaces will undergo a major facelift, from new carpet, wall coverings, new wood finishes, and modern chandeliers. The expansion also includes a 2-story grand entryway, a new ballroom, more parking spaces, and indoor and outdoor event space. Completion is set for early 2027. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Jobs report revisions out today from the Labor Department show U.S. employers added more than 900,000 fewer jobs during April through March of last year than previously reported. The Labor Department says the numbers are preliminary and final revisions will come out early next year. Analysts say this report adds to the concerns about the health of the nation's economy. Now, this all comes as a new report from the National Federation of Independent Businesses finds small business owners are growing more optimistic but are still having trouble filling job openings.
32% of owners say they had job openings they couldn't fill last month. In the construction sector, half of businesses couldn't find enough workers, likely because of President Trump's immigration crackdown.
Michael Wallace reports the survey finds the last time unfilled job openings caused this much concern was during the pandemic shutdowns. Anheuser-Busch will spend more than $9 million to upgrade the company's Cartersville brewing facility. They say the upgrades will allow them to ramp up production of Michelob Ultra, which is the top-selling beer in the Southeast and the fastest-growing beer brand in America. And Apple is set to launch a line of new products today, including the latest iPhone. Tech contributor Ian Scherr says this marks a major milestone for the company.
The iPhone is nearly 20 years old at this point. And while Apple has still found ways to refine it, the one thing everyone's paying attention to these days is artificial intelligence.
Scherr also says consumers will be watching closely to see how the ongoing trade war will affect the pricing of these new models. It's 12:04. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joins us live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Jonathan, not a fun one this going into this lunch hour between Ackworth and Kennesaw, and it's all due to that right lane construction again today. 75 southbound between Chastain Road and Barrett Parkway. If you want to save a few minutes, you can always use Highway 41 as an alternate. 85 southbound still trying to shake out of Duluth. You're seeing some brake lights leaving Highway 316 down toward Indian Trail Road. And downtown, you're seeing some brake lights as well. Just volume, though, 75, 85 southbound from 17th Street as you make your way down toward Cortlandt Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Now it's time for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Sunny skies, breezy today. The northeast wind pulling in that cool, dry 82. Sunset around 8 o'clock. Temperatures quickly falling to the mid to upper 50s for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny, high 84. Thursday, sunny skies, high 87. Temperatures continue to bounce upwards into the upper 80s to low 90s for Friday and Saturday. staying dry for Sunday with daytime highs in the upper 80s.
Storm Tracker radar checks clear across metro Atlanta. It's a gorgeous afternoon out there. 70 degrees in Milton. It's 73 in Stockbridge, 72 in Douglasville, and 71 right here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is save. SAVE, save. Enter the keyword save into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is save. SAVE, save. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. It could be us telling you you want $1,000. The keyword is save. Good luck.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. I'm delighted to have you. We've got some breaking news. Israel has bombed Qatar, a precision strike in the Qatari capital. We'll get to that. But first, the other breaking news, which I will spend more time with later in the show, but I want you to know out of the gate, the jobs numbers have been revised downward, over 900,000. The left is attacking Donald Trump on this downward revision of the jobs. This is actually the Joe Biden jobs numbers, not the Donald Trump jobs numbers, and that is missing a lot of context in the news. Essentially, 911,000 jobs declined through March of this year. So a lot of those jobs down at the end of the fourth quarter of last year with Joe Biden as president, and then in the first quarter of this year, where you're still feeling the effects more of Joe Biden's policies than of Donald Trump's policies. The left is pouncing, saying, see, this means that Donald Trump's economy is bad. No, actually, it means that Joe Biden's economy was bad, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics yet again screwed up. I'll spend more time on this later. I do want you to know about it out of the gate. The other big story is that Israel appears to have taken out senior leadership from Hamas. The meme going around on social media right now is there's white smoke over Qatar, which means Hamas has a new leader, which is to a degree true. So for those of you who don't understand, Hamas, the terrorist organization, has its headquarters in Qatar. All of its senior leaders live in Qatar. Qatar has become a safe haven for terrorists around the world, even as they spend lots of money inside the United States, lots of money trying to shape people's perception of Qatar. Qatar is actually a state that funds terrorism around the world. Now, you should know, there's a side note here. My buddy Wade pointed this out on social media. For all the people who were belly aching about Donald Trump taking that 747 for Qatar that he'd be bought and paid for, I've got my own complaints that essentially the plane was paid for with Qatari blood money, and I don't think we should take it. But as I said at the time, anyone who thinks Donald Trump's going to be bought off by Qatar doesn't know Donald Trump. Wade pointed that out a little while ago on social media as well, that the president and the American government were given advance notice of the strike and did not object. Donald Trump not objecting. The man who got the 747 gifted from Qatar did not object. Can we please stop saying that Donald Trump is in the pocket of the Qataris? The left wants you to believe Donald Trump is in the pocket of everybody. He's not. This shows you several things. One, Israel is increasingly bold and willing to take the fight to others. Also, that Hamas bit off more than it can chew on October 7th. The people are out there just screaming about the injustice of all of this, and how dare Israel do this? How dare they not? There are still hostages held in Gaza. Donald Trump told Hamas the other day if they did not release the hostages sooner rather than later, he would allow Israel off the chain. This is Israel off the chain. And they should be off the chain. There's a growing, and you see it in public opinion poll in this country, there's growing antagonism towards Israel. A lot of people want this over. There are a lot of Israelis who want this over. The way to end it is for Hamas to release the remaining hostages and the bodies of the hostages that have died in captivity that have not been released. Hamas has chosen not to do that. It is Hamas that started this. Israel intends to finish it. The same people who want you to believe that Donald Trump was going to be in the pocket of Qatar because they gave him an airplane are the people who want you to believe that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing what he's doing in order to avoid indictment and prosecution in Israel because he's been under investigation for corruption. It could actually be that the Israelis overwhelmingly support what's happened. It could actually be that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing what he thinks is right. And it could actually be that this is not Israel's fault. Israel is the only nation on planet Earth that is told it can't defend itself. It can't go after the bad guys. And if it does go after the bad guys, it's got to tie both hands behind its back and hop on one leg. That's the way the world expects Israel to fight. You know, they had 24 people at some international group claim that Israel's engaging in genocide. It turns out anybody could join the group, and the group actually didn't vote. Just a handful of them did put it on the name and said Israel's committing a genocide. It's amazing and remarkable to me how the national and the international press around the world is so willing and so easily takes talking points that are negative towards Israel. Take the story of the woman who died. She had cancer, and globally the press coverage was that Israel had killed her. Or the kid who had birth defects that looked malnourished but wasn't. He just had all sorts of terrible birth defects, and Israel was starving him to death. Again and again and again and again. The BBC, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, they're willing to be first, not accurate. They are willing to malign Israel with news stories, and then we're surprised when public opinion shifts against Israel because of a concerted PR effort through the American and international press to help Hamas against Israel. The anti-Semitism is woven within the pages of the New York Times and in the coverage at CNN. And suddenly there's news reporting that comes out that says, even Republicans are beginning to turn against Israel. The shift against Israel has been notable. Yes, because for months on end, you people in the press have been lying to the public about what Israel is doing, and the public doesn't realize they're being lied to. They think, oh, it's terrible. They're starving Gazans to death. We're a compassionate people. They're not starving Gazans to death. Hamas is starving Gazans to death. Israel is indiscriminately bombing. Israel's not indiscriminately bombing. They use precision strikes in Qatar today to make sure that there would not be additional casualties. In Gaza, they call people and tell them, we're going to bomb your neighborhood. You should get out. You know, so here's the thing. If the United States were going to do a military strike somewhere and called that neighborhood in advance and said, hello, this is the United States government. We're going to be dropping bombs in your neighborhood in 1 hour. Please evacuate the area. Every single one of you listening and the American Press Corps would attack the American government for the audacity of telling the bad guys that they're going for them. So guess what? We don't get all the bad guys. They fled the area. But when Israel does it, they're still attacked for genocide, despite calling in advance and saying, hello, we're coming to kill Abdul, your next door neighbor. Please leave the scene so you don't get killed too. Oh my God, it's genocide. No, it's killing Abdul, who killed a bunch of Jews. Israel attacking Hamas in Qatar, in Doha, the capital, is actually a pretty bold move. The Qatari government, of course, says it's cowardly. How is it cowardly? You flew jets across the Arabian Peninsula. You did a precision strike in Doha while you knew that the Hamas leadership was meeting together, much like you did with the Houthis. And the Qataris are saying this was cowardly. No, it was pretty awesome, frankly. It was pretty awesome. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Israel's Air Force carried out a strike on Hamas' senior political leadership in Doha, Qatar, Israeli officials said, expanding its fight against the militant group. The attack represents a sharp escalation of tactics against the group whose military leadership has been wiped out in Gaza by Israel in a potentially risky operation on the soil of a key U.S. partner in the region. Qatar, which condemned the attack, hosts America's most important air base in the region, as well as most of Hamas's political leadership. It's been a key mediator in the 2 years of talks to resolve the war in Gaza. Israel performed informed the United States the attack is coming, and the U.S. in turn notified Qatar, interestingly enough. The strike was the latest in a year of brazen attacks that have been highlighted Israel's military and intelligence prowess, along with its appetite for using them. In a relatively short period, Israel has wiped out the leadership of Hamas, Lebanese militia Hezbollah, and Iran's nuclear program, destroyed much of Syria's military equipment, killed militant leaders and other enemies in Gaza, Tehran, Damascus, and Beirut, and simultaneously exploded pagers and walkie-talkies carried by thousands of Hezbollah rank and file. Israel's Air Force has demonstrated its ability to attack at great distances with repeated strikes on the Houthi militia in Yemen and hundreds of sorties over Iran, each more than 1,000 miles away. Tuesday's attack targeted Hamas leaders Khalil al-Hayya and Zahir Jabaran, one of the Israelis and Qatari officials said. Many of Hamas's top political leaders were gathered in a meeting at the time of the attack. It wasn't immediately clear whether anyone was killed in the attack or how it was carried out. Defense Minister Israel Katz earlier warned Hamas leaders abroad they would be annihilated if they did not lay down their arms. Now the question is, did Qatar tip off Hamas in time for them to get out? It's a major question that needs to be asked. Did Qatar tip off Hamas? Because I wouldn't put it past them unless the United States slow-rolled their notice to the Qataris. And I wouldn't put that past the United States. Hopefully they got the bad guys and they did not escape. Qatar is not our friend. You know, we used to all get worked up about the Confucius Institutes. The Confucius Institutes are the Chinese institutes around the world that funded pro-Chinese communist propaganda in the guise of cooperation with American military institutes or American academic institutes. Qatar is doing the same thing now. You know, I turned down an ad deal a while back. It was a sizable ad deal. Qatari Airlines. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want Qatari money. You know, the Qatar is pouring money into left-wing and right-wing influencers. It's not just the left or the right. It's not ideologically aligned. They're spending money with the left and the right online. A lot of influencers getting money, a lot of media outlets getting money, a lot of academic institutions in the United States getting money from Qatar. They're trying to influence you and me through how they are covered, through doling out money to them. I wouldn't take the money. I would have loved to have flown first class to Dubai, taken my family to see where I grew up. It wasn't worth giving up my soul to terror masterminds, and that is what the Qatari government is. They are a bunch of people subsidizing terrorists around the world. And Israel has had enough. Be mindful of those on the right in particular who are attacking Israel and criticizing it. Are they getting money? Under the table or otherwise, are they getting money? Qatar has thrown a lot of money into the social media influencer game, into TV networks, into institutions on the left and the right that have foreign policy groups trying to shape views of foreign policy with their money. They're trying to buy people off on the left and the right. Be very careful. If you start hearing people raising all sorts of alarms about a very impressive Israeli attack that was very targeted to minimize fallout, you might need to ask whether or not the people got money. It's very funny. You got so many people on the left now and some on the right. To those of us who page Israel, they're suggesting we are bought and paid for by Israel. I haven't taken any money from any Israelis. I want you to know that. I just happen to know the difference between good and evil. In Israel, they're doing good.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching that big slow zone between Ackworth and Kennesaw. Travel advisory. It's right lane construction. 75 southbound before Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Delays stretch back before Wade Green Road. Highway 41 will get you around that. Elsewhere, if you're on the south side, 75 southbound, still a little bunched up through Stockbridge from 675 down to Hudson Bridge Road. And you'll see some construction in the left lane, 20 eastbound between Wesley Chapel Road and Panola Road in DeKalb. Traffic brought to you by Blindster. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blind shades and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows are trusted. Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is save. SAVE, save. Enter the keyword save into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is save. SAVE, save. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. It could be us telling you you want $1,000. The keyword is save. Good luck.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th. Because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com.
Properties come in all shapes and sizes, and so do foundation repairs. Mark Beckham here. It could be new construction, a big house, a small house, or your commercial property. Anyway, you need the leaders in foundation repair to handle it. Get your free estimate at atlantaramjack.com.
Right now, Beaver Toyota of Cumming is loaded with fresh inventory, and they're offering huge savings, low financing, and all the Beaver benefits. See them on the web at beavertoyotacumming.com. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming, the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
At Jape Services, family isn't just a slogan, it's how we do business.
Our family has been helping homeowners with their heating and cooling since 1978.
And now, we're riding along just like our dad did when he was 14.
And today, we're here to help your family stay cool and comfortable. If your AC is struggling, call Jape Services for honest pricing, expert heating and cooling repair, or replacement.
Decades of experience, family-run values, service you can trust.
Let our family take care of your family.
Jape Services.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson. Delighted to have you with me. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. Very happy to have you. We are getting continued reports out of Qatar about the damage inflicted by Israel. It does look like a loss of the senior leadership of Hamas. And also, it looks like a complete annihilation of every one of the senior leaders of Hamas now who planned the October 7th attack. Pretty impressive. The conversations about the young lady from Ukraine murdered in Charlotte, North Carolina, are very interesting because the American Press Corps has decided not to actually cover what happened, but to try to claim that Republicans are stirring racial animosity and trying to play the race card over what happened. The young lady was murdered by a man on the subway in Charlotte, North Carolina, not the subway, light rail. And that should be the story. And as I said the other day, the truth of the matter, whether you want to believe it or not, is that had he, the murderer, been white and she, the victim, black, it would be all over the news. Van Jones is going after Charlie Kirk on CNN. Let me play this.
Let me just say a couple of things. One is, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad's going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race-mongering, hate-mongering, it's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level.
Two things. One, I like Van Jones tremendously, but he's a very nice guy. But I should note that actually he may not have known it, but the evidence was that the murderer said that I got that white girl. And it does seem like he targeted her because she was white based on his own words. And also had a white police officer randomly killed a black woman riding on public transportation. There would be all sorts of changes to society. The difference, frankly, was who George Floyd was himself not a great guy. And that mitigated it. Now I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. If you want a great bank account, go to oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Old Glory Bank is a bank by conservatives for conservatives. I've got a checking account and a savings account with them. I've got the no-fee checking and savings accounts. You can get premium accounts with them, even checking accounts that bear interest. You can do mortgages, you can do car loans, you can do lines of credit, you can do CDs. They're a fully functioning bank, the fastest growing bank in the country right now. OldGloryBank.com. They really are my bank. They're really good people, started by conservatives, for conservatives. They bought a bank in Oklahoma. They expanded its national charter. It can take accounts from all over the country, and they've been taking lots of accounts. They'd love to have yours. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. You can go sign up there. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the JamCam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 12:30. I'm Jonathan O'Brien. This news brought to you by Jim Ellis Automotive. Our top local story: DeKalb County fire officials are mourning the loss of firefighter Preston Fant, a 21-year veteran of the department. He was a 21-year veteran of the department, rather. He was killed while battling a warehouse fire in Lithonia yesterday. County CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnson.
His bravery, his sacrifice, and his service will never be forgotten by those with whom he served or by DeKalb County.
He leaves behind a wife and 5 children. Officials say this is the first time a DeKalb County firefighter has died in the line of duty. Fire investigators in Atlanta are trying to figure out the cause of an early morning fire at the Magnolia Park Apartments. Officials say 8 people were taken to the hospital and treated for minor injuries. The Red Cross is assisting 12 families displaced by the fire. The United Nations is condemning today's Israeli strike on Hamas targets in Qatar. Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
All parties must work towards achieving a permanent ceasefire, not destroying it.
Israel says they have officially pulled out of ongoing talks until further notice. Qatar calls the strikes cowardly. DoorDash is partnering with Waffle House for late-night deliveries. The announcement comes as the Atlanta-based diner celebrates its 70th anniversary and National Waffle Week. Most of the country will be able to enjoy home deliveries of the restaurant's iconic menu items with DoorDash, receiving 20 to 30% of the total food bill. It's 12:31.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
At Rocco's European Garage, we take pride in providing full service and repair for any Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Land Rover, or European vehicle. Hey, this is Rocco, and visit one of our 6 locations for top-notch customer service that includes clear upfront pricing, customer approval prior to us beginning work, and a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. Your vehicle is fixed right the first time, and we offer shuttle service for more convenience. Always at a better value than the dealership. Visit any of our 6 locations at Rocco's European Garage.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
It's 12:34. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Jonathan. DOT reporting a new vehicle fire up in Cartersville on I-75 southbound past East Main Street, State Route 113, exit 288. They say a right lane is blocked, and I do see some delays starting to pick up there, so be mindful of that. Once you get past that, you'll slow again 75 southbound between Ackworth and Kennesaw, all due to that right lane construction just before Barrett Parkway, exit number 269. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Blue skies and sunshine today, high 82. The northeast wind gusting 20 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight, lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 84. Starting to heat up on Thursday with a high of 87.
73 degrees in Austell, 73 in Lithia Springs, and it's 72 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news coming up at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists across America. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I want to talk frankly about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff with Donald Trump. It was always silly of Trump to say he didn't participate in writing that card. You know, and some of you who want to believe, you can believe that it was a fake signature. I saw that spin yesterday that this signature doesn't match the signature of Donald Trump as president. Look, well, no, but if you go back to that year and you pull up some things Donald Trump signed around that time, yeah, the signature was about the same, and who cares? And that is the larger point here. Who cares? Trump is going to get this. He's probably going to get beat down by a court for suing the Wall Street Journal over it because clearly the Wall Street Journal got advance notice. The Epstein estate has released it. Here's my problem. I don't care about Donald Trump participating in this note for Jeffrey Epstein at that time when it was not commonly known at that time that Jeffrey Epstein was the monster that he was. Jeffrey Epstein was a well-off financier gadfly in New York City at the time, and all sorts of politicians and prominent people knew Jeffrey Epstein as he ingratiated himself to them, and none of them knew he was a monster. You know what I have a real problem with on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is that a whole lot of people who cared about Jeffrey Epstein decided not to care about it the moment Donald Trump said there was no there, and a lot of people who didn't care about it at all the moment he said that there was no there. They're like, oh my God, he's probably involved. It's all political opportunism. CNN 3 months ago had people on telling all the reporters there's probably nothing there. Everybody thinks there's some sort of list, but that's a conspiracy. Even the lawyers involved say there's no list. There were certainly names compiled of potential people involved, but Jeffrey Epstein did not keep a blackmail list. And obviously, if Donald Trump were on there, it would have been leaked. They were like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. It would have been leaked by the Biden team if Donald Trump was on this list. And now suddenly, wall to wall, CNN wants to give coverage on Jeffrey Epstein and his potential ties to Donald Trump. You know what CNN's not covering? Do you have any idea what CNN is not covering in its obsession about Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein that 3 months ago CNN said didn't matter and wasn't relevant? They're not covering the victims. There are names of accusers. We don't know them because the women have all been paid off by the accusers to keep their mouths shut. This is something some of you can't wrap your brains around. And I don't mean that negatively towards you. It's just none of you live a life like this. It's like Lisa Cook being able to get 2 mortgages within 2 weeks of each other, both claiming primary residence. You and I don't live in that world. We don't understand it. You and I do not understand that there are really, really, really rich, deviant people who can spend a lot of money doing very deviant things and then pay the people to shut up. A number of very prominent reporters, including for the Miami Herald and others, investigated Jeffrey Epstein for a very long time. And had you bothered to read any of their reporting, you would have known, as I did, there never was a list, a blackmail list from Jeffrey Epstein. That was always one of the wild internet rumors out there that he kept some sort of list of all the people. He didn't. He never did. And what these same reporters who investigated it said, and what the lawyers have said, is that many of the victims, some of whom spoke to Congress recently, they were paid lots and lots of money by their abusers, both to pay them and to keep them silent. And if you enter into an agreement with someone and they pay you $5 million that you can never, ever, never, ever, 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 never say anything about it, well, guess what? You can never, ever, ever, never say anything about it. And if you go to court and the court demands that you say something about it, well, you're in violation of your agreement. You got to pay that money back plus some. And if you're not willing to press charges, if you're not willing to say you're a victim, what can they do? If you're not a victim, you're not relevant to a trial. The only reason anybody cares about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff right now is because of Donald Trump. And that goes for Thomas Massie. Let's be clear here. Thomas Massie has now been challenged by Donald Trump. Thomas Massie is being primaried by Donald Trump and Donald Trump's team. Chris LaCivita, who ran the campaign for Donald Trump, is now working on the outside group to take out Thomas Massie. The only reason Thomas Massie is doing what he's doing is to inflict damage on Donald Trump. What about the victims? I will say this about Thomas Massie. If he wants to go to the floor of the House and read the names of the abusers, do it. Make it a bipartisan effort. You know, you've got Project Veritas or whatever, or James O'Keefe, one of them out there now saying that they got some guy in some undercover video said, oh, they're going to redact the Republicans. We'll never know the Republicans. You get the Democrats on the floor of the House of Representatives, I guarantee you they will list the names of any Republicans, including Donald Trump. But you're not going to hear about Donald Trump because what's going on with Donald Trump is that the people on the left who for years and years and years and years and years dismissed anything about Jeffrey Epstein suddenly want to claim that Donald Trump raped young women. That's actually the claim online, is that we have elected Donald Trump who raped a lot of young women. No, he did not. It is a slander against the President of the United States, and you people know it, and you are using and abusing the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and cheapening the whole thing in the same way the abusers did, just so you can smear Donald Trump. It is an insult to the actual victims for you to go out and say that Donald Trump abused these young women, because there are names of the abusers and Donald Trump is not one of them. And yes, we would know, because you know and I know that if they had credible proof of it, it would have leaked long ago to try to stop Donald Trump from getting reelected president of the United States. He did nothing wrong. He is innocent of it. His ties in that book were common with a bunch of other people at the time that Jeffrey Epstein was a social gadfly in New York City. I interviewed a girl a couple of years ago who was a victim of human trafficking. You know who trafficked her? Her parents. Her parents. She went to school. She was a straight A student. She was on the softball team. And at night, she was tied up and rented out by her dad. And she had to keep her grades up so that nobody would suspect anything. And nobody suspected anything until late in her high school career. People started asking questions about some behavior and some harm. And they realized she was being trafficked by her parents, who had 2 kids. And the one kid they loved, and they used her as a sign of, clearly, I mean, there's nothing wrong with our family. Look at this other kid. It's just she's got problems. It was horrific. Absolutely horrific what she went through. Parents are in prison now. She was a real victim. There are real victims who were abused and mistreated. And you're not talking about them. One, we don't know many of their names. But 2, a media that never gave a damn about the victims still doesn't. They only care about slandering Donald Trump, who there's no evidence, never has been any evidence that Donald Trump did anything wrong. And I just find it revolting. It turns my stomach that people keep wanting to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, and very few people really care about the actual victims. It's salacious. It's like watching a car wreck. It's like watching a train wreck. People just want to watch it play out. You're not interested in the names of the victims and what happened to them. You just want the names. Surely there are some rich men out there. I want to know, was Bill Clinton involved? Was Donald Trump involved? Was Bill Gates involved? All the names that have surfaced in the past. Salacious gossip. That's what it is for almost every single person, is they just want the salacious gossip. They don't really care. And part of the problem here is people are playing with fire. You know, Bill Gates' name has come up in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. We don't know. We have no idea whether he was untoward with anyone or not. But people just want to know, what did Bill Gates do? What was his ties to this? It was probably nothing. And so you trot these names out, and you have people who are maligned and stigmatized for the rest of their lives because their names came up and they did nothing wrong. Think about all the jokes about, what's his name? Wheelie, Stephen Hawking, and his time on Epstein Island. I have no idea. I got nothing for you. Lots of speculation, lots of memes, lots of jokes. Think about all the people whose names have come out who are innocent, but now they're the butt of jokes. So if you go to the floor of the House of Representatives and you start listing the names of people, you better be sure, because no, the reason they're doing it on the floor of the House of Representatives is because if you say anything on the floor of the House of Representatives as a member of Congress, you are protected from lawsuit. You can come out and lie about your next door neighbor. You can say, my neighbor Bob is a child molester who at night rapes the goats in his backyard, and he's abusive to his wife, and I think he buried his grandmother under the rose bush in the backyard, and there's nothing your neighbor Bob can do about it because you're a member of Congress. That's why Nancy Mace went to the floor of the House before she announced her gubernatorial bid, and she attacked all those men and claimed she was a victim and they had sexually abused her and on and on. And you notice she won't say a damn thing about it off the floor of the House of Representatives. They tried to sue her and got the case thrown out because she used the speech and debate clause to say a lot of things that might not be true, so she can be protected against them by people trying to sue her and defend their names. She smeared these people and they're left with no defense. So if you go to the floor of the House and you list the names of the abusers of these young women, you better be telling the truth. You better get the names from the victims. And also, I think the environment exists at this moment in this country, so if those young women do come forward and say the names of their abusers, I dare the abusers to sue them, because I don't think it goes well for them. I think here on the tail end of the Me Too movement, I think if these women are willing to come forward and say they were abused, and here's who abused me, and here's how they abused me, I have a hard time believing the men who paid the money to keep them quiet are going to be able to successfully sue them. But this should not be about Donald Trump. And it actually is a very damning indictment on the left and the press in America, who cared nothing about this, who still cared nothing about this, but are using this as a way to smear the President of the United States. They're using real victims and their trauma to lie about the President of the United States. There are real victims. There is real trauma. And the quest to watch the train wreck and get the juicy gossip should not overshadow that there are a lot of broken lives. There was never a blackmail list from Jeffrey Epstein. There never was. The victims of lawyers have said as much. The reporters have said as much. But there are victims, and those victims have names, and it wasn't all Jeffrey Epstein. It was other people too. I haven't cared much about this story because there's been too much conspiracy theorizing about it. But what offends me greatly is the American Press Corps hasn't cared much about it either until they thought they could smear Donald Trump. CNN has gone wall to wall with the Epstein stuff now. They never cared about it. They only care about it now because Trump's name has come up, and he had nothing to do with it. They've never been interested in the victims. If you're going to care about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, spend less time focusing on the abusers and more time focusing on the women whose lives were destroyed by the monster and those he subsidized and allowed access to them. And we should encourage Thomas Massie, if you want to keep this going, if you want to drag it out, if you really do care about it, go to the floor of the House and read the names. Surely the victims have given you the names of the monsters, so tell us who they are.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1251 in Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. All jammed up now, 316 westbound out of Lawrenceville, trying to get over to I-85. Taking a look at the jam cam. Looks like you got work crews in the left lane trying to see if they're setting up barrels or just rolling in it, but nonetheless, it's slowing you before and after Sugarloaf Parkway. Over on the northwest side of town, still slow, 75 south out of Ackworth and Kennesaw. It is that right lane construction approaching Barrett Parkway. Use Highway 41. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million customers have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
No way! The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Hey, you spotted your termite guy strolling around the yard. Is he just getting his steps in? Does he even know where your bait stations are? Mark Aram here. Ask them to show me the bait stations. If they can't, it's time to switch to Breda Pest Management with a complete liquid barrier, not bait stations, plus early detection both inside and out. And your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Shopping for windows and doors shouldn't feel like a full-time job.
Or like you invited someone over who never leaves.
It's Ted and Jonathan from North Georgia Replacement Windows. We offer a stress-free experience.
That means quick, accurate proposals without pressure or pricing games.
Plus, a detailed window installation that is quick, clean, and hassle-free.
Window and door shopping made simple with 0% interest available.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Hi there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, a whole lot more. Just as a reminder, yesterday I sent out an email to those on the action items list and just said, it's like $35,000 a year to maintain the program we use to be able to reach out to members of Congress and state legislators. And we don't have that right now. We brought on some new people to grow the show. We got other priorities. I don't use it enough to justify it. So we're going to start using my daily show notes as the activism list. So if you haven't subscribed to the show notes, you should. If you want in on the action items, all you have to do is text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. The very first link is the show notes email. You can subscribe. There is a free option. There's a paid option. And you'll be able to take advantage of the action items, even as a free subscriber to it. Now, I want you to know how much I love you guys, because I do. I love you all. I had a great time last night with a group of people. Scott Jennings was actually the speaker. I was asked to introduce Scott Jennings from CNN. He's very kind. He referred to me as the true heir to Rush Limbaugh. It was very, very kind of him. And I loved hanging out with listeners last night. I love all of you, and I am missing Apple's big announcement and all their new goodies. I'm missing it. And then I got to take my kid to the Braves-Cubs game. Come on, Braves, win tonight against the Cubs, even though I love the Cubbies. So I'm going to miss completely the big announcements. I'm going to have Fisher texting me in real time what it all is. And I may check in on it during commercial breaks and stuff. You never know. So in any event, let me tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are asking you to take a step for freedom in your community. If 250,000 of us just take one step for freedom, we will have taken 250,000 steps for freedom in time for our 250th birthday as a country. What you can do if you want to be a part of it is go to afpvolunteer.com. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity today. Sign up with them, get involved, take a step for freedom in your community, and advance the vision of the founders in time for the 250th birthday of this country. This is an all-hands-on-deck event, folks. They want everybody in every community, everywhere, taking a step forward for freedom to recommit ourselves to the vision of the founders. Go to afpvolunteer.com. That's afpvolunteer.com. When we come back, there is incredible data out from NBC News on the differences of Gen Z, younger voters, the Harris voters versus the Trump voters. Who is the most family-friendly? That might actually surprise you among all the data.
Where you're going is a given. How you're getting there?
Well, that's the question.
We will start to see some delays if they shut that ramp down on 285 East.
Before you hit the navigation
They're
app.
going to be slowing right around Hudson Bridge Road.
Listen to the people you can trust.
And really slow out of Ackworth into Emerson.
Updated traffic as often as you need it every time you listen.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
More experience, more reliable, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 1 o'clock, I'm Jonathan O'Brien. This news brought to you by Nelson Exteriors. Our top local story, a DeKalb firefighter is being remembered as a hero after losing his life battling a warehouse fire in Lithonia.
Preston Fant was a husband and father of 5. He was also an elite veteran firefighter, according to Chief Darnell Fulham.
Fant was an extraordinary firefighter who served at this very fire station for 21 years.
Fulham says it is the only instance of a firefighter in DeKalb County dying actively battling a blaze. DeKalb CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnson ordered flags in the county lowered to half staff.
His bravery, his sacrifice, and his service will never be forgotten.
Plans for a memorial service are in the works. The exact circumstances of his death are under review. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
73 degrees here in Midtown, mostly sunny and breezy. Highs climbing to about 82 today. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. New this hour, Cobb commissioners have voted to buy 3 radar speed signs in an effort to slow things down in North Cobb.
The signs display a driver's speed and let them know when they're going faster than the speed limit. It's a subtle effort to slow speeders. Many complaints have come at the intersection of East Piedmont and Sandy Plains roads in front of Sprayberry High School. The school is under reconstruction, and parents are concerned about congestion and drivers who speed through the school zone. The signs could be moved around to different areas if needed. Now, the Cobb DOT will take another look at the Sprayberry area to see if additional safety measures need to be put in place. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Israel has launched airstrikes targeting Hamas leadership in Qatar today. The attack comes amid a push for a ceasefire, but correspondent Ramy Inocencio reports Israel says they are now suspending their part in peace talks until further notice.
This is a massive blow to what would be a potential peace process for the Gaza Strip and for Israel.
Officials in Qatar called the strike cowardly. Georgia is on a list of states where a potentially life-threatening disease has been detected.
Chagas disease is also known as kissing bug disease because the insect that carries the parasite often bites its victims on the face. While early symptoms of infection include swollen eyelids, it can spread to a patient's heart and digestive tract that could be fatal. The Atlanta-based CDC says Georgia is among 32 states where the disease has been spotted, but it's not one of 8 states with human infections. While there's no drug to prevent Chagas disease, you're urged to use insecticides to keep the kissing bugs away and seek medical help if you notice an infection. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
A break for taxpayers in the city of Woodstock. The city council approves what it calls a historic tax decrease for property owners. For the average Woodstock homeowner, the rollback rate would mean a property tax bill of about $760 on a $368,000 home. Mayor Michael Caldwell says this would be the lowest tax rate Woodstock has had in at least 30 years. It's 102.
I know where you can get incredible seafood. You can get butcher-cut steaks, not machine processed. You can get great burgers. You can get great desserts. You can get sides. It's omahasteaks.com. It's where my wife and I go when we want to do a lot of meal prep because, you know, you're into meal prep right now, and Omaha Steaks makes it easy. They've got ready-made sides and main courses. They've got great steaks. They got good chicken, lean poultry, all the high-protein stuff that you want to eat these days. You go to Omaha Steaks, and right now they're having the Red Hot Sale event. So you go to omahasteaks.com. You get 50% off site-wide, and then you get an extra $35 off if you use promo code ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. It's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. See the site for details. There's so much to choose from. You can get your chicken, you can get your pork, you can get your seafood, high-protein meals delivered to you, and it's deliciousness. omahasteaks.com.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Of course you are. Well, I have a great deal on the Tundra for you, and the only place you're going to find it, the only place you're going to hear about it is right here. Go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on your new Toyota Tundra. It's that easy. beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's 1:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Jonathan, we're still watching the brake lights. Will be throughout the afternoon until this road work clears in Kennesaw. 75 south, they're in that right lane between Chastain Road and Barrett Parkway. Brake lights back up toward Highway 92 and Ackworth. Highway 41 will scoot you around that. That slow zone on 316 westbound out of Gwinnett County. Had been some construction in the left lane. I'm not sure if they're there anymore. We're going to have to spin the jam cam, but that's the reason for those brake lights is you make your way from Sugarloaf Parkway toward I-85. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny and breezy today. High 82. The northeast wind gusting 20 miles per hour.
74 degrees in Roswell, 75 in Riverdale, and it's 74 degrees here in Midtown. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Look at that. I got the Apple event on. I'm watching it without the sound on. AirPods, first thing coming out. I'm here with you. I'm also distracted. I will focus on you, however, and not my beloved Apple. I'm in the cult. You know, I went to New York last week and I had to walk 7 times around the cube praying to Steve Jobs. It's just what we Apple people do. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. Would be delighted to have you with me. We've got to talk about some interesting data from NBC News and a survey they did. A survey has been conducted of Gen Z voters. That is the youngest voters. It's an NBC News poll, and it gave Gen Z voters a list of choices on how to define personal success. Do you know who the most family-focused group is? It's not women who voted for Harris. It's certainly not men who voted for Harris. And it's not even women who voted for Trump. It's men who voted for Trump. Now, the priorities are a little bit mixed up. Young men, Gen Z men who voted for Trump, their number one priority is having kids. Getting married is number 4. I would encourage them to reorder that. But young men who voted for Donald Trump, their top 5 issues: having kids, achieving financial independence, having a job or career you find fulfilling, and getting married. And then number 5, having enough money to do the things you want to do. Among women who voted for Donald Trump, number 1 is achieving financial independence, then having a job and career, then owning a home, then being spiritually grounded, then having enough money to do the things you want to do. Tied with young men who voted for Trump, number 6 is having children, and then no debt, using your talents to help others, and then being married. Oddly enough, the women and the men who voted for Kamala Harris put being married ahead of having kids. The young women and the young men who voted for Trump put having kids ahead of being married. The problem is that the men who voted for Kamala Harris, being married is number 9 on their list, and with women it's number 11, with 12 being having children. Number 9 and number 10 for men who voted for Harris is being married and having kids. For the young women who voted for Harris, it's being married and having kids are 11 and 12. Both of them, both the men and the women for Kamala Harris, had having emotional stability higher. Having emotional stability was higher for all of them, to their credit, among the Gen Z voters for Harris and Trump, men and women. Number 13, the very bottom issue was fame and influence. Fame and influence. And all of them, other than the men who voted for Trump, had being able to retire early as towards the bottom. The women who voted for Harris show you how problematic the thinking is for a lot of young women on the left these days, because they wanted to make their family proud, be spiritually grounded, and be able to retire early before being married and having kids. There's some warning here in the data for all of them. For Gen Zers on the right, having kids as a higher priority than getting married is a problem, because the two-parent nuclear household comes first. By the way, if you're listening and you're young, you're in high school or college, hear me out. There's a guy, Brad Wilcox. I know him. He does Institute for Family Studies, works at the University of Virginia. He is probably the foremost authority on families and stability in society. And I need you, if you're young, hear me out. Hear me out here. Do you know the secret to success in the United States? It's not actually a secret, and it's in the data. Do this in order. Number 1, graduate from high school. Number 2, get married. Number 3, have kids. That order. People who get out of high school before they get married and then get married before they have kids are going to be inordinately more wealthy than any other group of people. And among classes of people, among the working class, the most successful members of the working class graduated from high school, then got married, then had kids. Among the middle class, graduated from high school, got married, then had kids. Among the wealthy, graduated from high school, then got married, then had kids. Along the way, if you want to throw in graduated from high school, get a college degree, you can get married while you're getting the college degree, and that's fine. Have the kids after the college degree, move on. People who have college degrees in this country, there's a lot of devaluation of college degrees right now. And I get it. No aspersions on my part. If you don't have a college degree, God bless you. I know many a wealthy plumber out there right now who never went to college. I know a lot of people who are very successful, very wealthy, never went to college. But did you know that people who have a college degree have historically lower unemployment than any other group? Consistently, across the board, every economic downturn, including right now, the unemployment rate for people with college degrees is about 2%. The national average right now, about 4.2%. People without a college degree, it's slightly higher than that. With a college degree, about 2% unemployment. There's a path to stability in society, and it runs through first getting out of high school before you have kids and get married. Now, what about those of you, let me just talk to you for a minute, those of you who didn't do it in the traditional way. The valedictorian from my high school graduated from high school and had 2 kids before she got out of high school. And by the way, she was 18. She's the valedictorian for the high school. Don't know what happened to her. But she got out of high school, she did well. I know people who got pregnant in high school, they got married, and they do quite well. You know the common element there, by the way, of the people who do it the untraditional route? You get pregnant, and then you get out of high school, and then you get married, or you get pregnant and get married in high school, and then you get out of high school. You know the additional component that tends to realign things for their better? Actively involved in a faith community. The people who regularly go to church do better than other people. And those people who didn't do the successful pattern of get out of high school, then get married, then have kids, they did the get pregnant, have kids, then get out of high school, then get married, or kids and then marriage and then high school. Get into an active faith community, you tend to do better because the faith community takes care of you as you participate in it. Church involvement actually plays a big role in success. But there's another issue here that we should dive into, and this is the divergence between the left and the right. Now, I mentioned the other day there's a growing body of data that shows that the population decline in the United States is specifically related to progressives not having kids. And here, what I find interesting is that the men and women who voted for Harris who are in Gen Z, the highest level for having kids is out of 13 issues, number 10. And that's with the men, not the women. I find it very notably that the men who voted for Harris and the men who voted for Trump are both more interested in having kids than the women. Now, honestly, pregnancy, what you got to push out your body, I totally get it, ladies. I do. But concurrent to all of that, you want to perpetuate society and have people in a safety net to take care of you when you get old and have kids. You know, we're going to have a bunch of single Gen Zers on the left to expect the entirety of society to bend over backwards to take care of them when they're old because they never bothered to have a family and have kids. Going to have a lot of lonely people. Watch the uptick in desires for assisted suicide in this country as we have a bunch of lonely progressives getting older and not knowing what to do with themselves. It's a sad commentary on the left that they've decided essentially to liquidate themselves over time. They're not reproducing. They're not perpetuating families. They're lonely. They get bitter. They turn to politics as their religion. Next thing you know, they're at a Phillies game with that bob haircut trying to steal a baseball from a little boy. They're angry and isolated. Oddly enough, among the young people who voted for Harris, men and women, number one for the men and the women is have a job or career you find fulfilling. Number two is have enough money to do the things you want to do. Those are the nuns. You've seen the videos online of the nuns, the people who they don't have kids, they don't want kids, they want to be able to have fun, do it all, not have to worry about the burden of children. And you know what the data says? The data says that they think people, they're unhappy. Well, let me put it a different way to you to make more sense of it. The data of young progressives who are childless shows that they're unhappy. But they think the people more unhappy than them are the people who are married with kids. They think, I may be miserable, but my God, look at them. You know what the data actually says? The people who are married and have kids are the happiest. The people who are married, have kids, and regularly go to church, those are the most socially well-balanced people on the planet. Getting married, having kids, going to church actually does something for your well-being, actually does something for your mental health. It does something for your social and emotional health. All these young people without kids and without marriages, they're like, I don't want to, I may be miserable, but I'm not going to be as miserable as those people. Turns out those people are far less miserable. In fact, I dare say they're happy. I got to tell you, I had a conversation last night with a friend of mine who his career has taken off and he's miserable because he's not home with his family all the time. And I get it. And, you know, there were days when my career was taking off and I thought, you know, think about all the other stuff I could do. If I wasn't married and didn't have kids, if I was not shackled to a wife and kids, I could move to New York or Washington and I could have a much more explosive career. And then I see my friends who did that. They're the most miserable people on the planet. Forget the substance abuse and addiction, their misery, their malcontentedness. I know a guy, and buddy, you know I love you, and you know I'm talking about you, and I know you're listening right now because you listen every day. And I'll just say what I said to you in email. Moved to Washington, D.C., your career took off. You never got married. You never had kids. You're now in your late 40s, and you've become radicalized. You believe every conspiracy theory. You're angry. You're tribalist. You know I love you. But I see this, as I have said to you directly, way too often, the people who get to middle age and they're childless, they're unmarried, they're the most radicalized people on the planet. They live in isolation, and they're the most tribal people. They can't afford to break away from their tribal talking points, because if they lose their tribe, they've lost their entire safety net of community support. You know, if you get married and you have kids, you've built your own support. You don't have to go find someone else's tribe. You've made your own tribe. You become the leader of that tribe, and too many people aren't. And too many people on the left who've decided to stay single and never get married are going to be the most radicalized people on planet Earth, and concurrently the most miserable. That's not my opinion, by the way. That's what the data actually shows.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Tracking some delays through Doraville on 285 eastbound, the inner loop from Peachtree Boulevard, trying to get on to I-85 northbound. That's, excuse me, that's because we had an earlier crash before Jimmy Carter Boulevard. It's since cleared, so leftover delays trying to get on to 85 north there into Norcross. And our next biggest slow zone is that travel advisory construction in the right lane, 75 southbound in Kennesaw, Bear Parkway. Use Highway 41. Traffic brought to you by Ameris Bank. At Ameris Bank, they believe in your business, and they see it as their business to help you succeed. Learn more at amerisbank.com. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
Your deck is more than just a place to flip a burger or have a cup of coffee. It gathers your friends and family on all your favorite occasions and is there to enjoy every day. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and we build beautiful, high-quality decks at a reasonable price. We're licensed and insured, provide exceptional customer service, design help, and we'll work with the materials you want. Strength, durability, beauty. Decks done differently. Built by Nelson Exteriors. Get your free estimate. Google Nelson Exteriors.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Beckers in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm.
and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Available. Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. So I did this event with Scott Jennings last night in Macon, Georgia. My buddy Cole Muzio asked me for Frontline Policy to introduce Scott at this event. It was very funny. He was talking about his time at CNN. He actually had a great line. He said that the network is, now that they're being sold, they're going to rename the network to Scott, because that's what they say more than the name of the network. It's true. Well, the struggle session, the nightly struggle session they have, I think the name of the program is Struggle Session with Abby Phillips, where you get all the communists in the room led by Abby Phillips, and they just berate poor Scott Jennings all night. But Scott. It really is just remarkable that, you know, I increasingly rely on News Nation, and I'm on there occasionally. I haven't been on in a while, in large part because I've been busy. My buddy Leland Vittert, by the way, Leland has a new book coming out that you should check out. I don't do book reviews on the show, but I'm gonna have to get him on because I'm really enjoying Leland's book. But News Nation is what CNN claims to be. It is a very fair and balanced network where they push people on both sides, and the reporters and anchors are very good at playing devil's advocate to both sides to pinpoint the weaknesses of their arguments, and it's what CNN should do, but they're too Epstein obsessed, and they hate Donald Trump, and they got to have Scott Jennings on to kind of correct the narratives on the programs and get the crazy to settle down. If you aren't watching News Nation, particularly my buddy Leland Vittert, great program, great network, and he's got a great book coming out. I've just become a big fan of News Nation. It's where I tend to watch my news these days. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm because, well, not only is it good, but I keep one in my travel bag, and I had to use it on the back porch a couple weeks ago when the window was open. I didn't realize it, and the place smelled like my smoker. It's an air purifier, but it also wipes out odors. It eliminates odors. It generates ozone. And ozones are, not to delve into the science here, but ozone is O3. One molecule of ozone has 3 atoms of oxygen, which is deeply unstable. And when ozone touches the ionized particles, it releases that one oxygen atom and wipes out the odor. That very simple. Spare me the lectures on science. You know the point I'm making. It neutralizes the odor. So no odor can stand up to it. And it's a great way to wipe out bad odors. You get 3 of them. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, and you can literally get 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms for less than $200, and you're saving $200. And you wipe out odors. EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
He's to the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is
He's
Right?
your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Haessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 1:30. I'm Jonathan O'Brien. This news brought to you by Ben Hill Renovations. Our top local story is just in to WSB. A Fulton County Superior Court judge plans to dismiss racketeering charges against all 61 defendants accused of trying to stop the construction of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. The judge saying today that Attorney General Chris Carr did not have the authority to secure the indictment without the governor's permission. Each defendant faced up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Critics called the indictment politically motivated and heavy-handed. WSB's Veronica Waters is gathering reaction to this, and we will have that for you this afternoon on WSB. DeKalb County officials are mourning the loss of veteran firefighter Preston Fant, who was killed Monday while battling a warehouse fire in Lithonia. County CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson.
His bravery, his sacrifice, and his service will never be forgotten by those with whom he served or by DeKalb County.
He leaves behind a wife and 5 children. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is condemning the Israeli airstrikes on Hamas leadership targets in Qatar.
It lays bare a stark reality. The world is spending far more on waging war than on building peace.
Israel has pulled out of ongoing ceasefire talks until further notice. Qatar calls the strikes cowardly. And good news for late-night diners. Waffle House is partnering with DoorDash to offer all-night delivery. Delivery fees are waived until Sunday for orders placed on the Waffle House website or app. It coincides with the Atlanta-based company's 70th anniversary and National Waffle Week. It's 1:31.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
I've been forecasting sunshine for you for 40 years. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, and now I'm excited with the sunshine inside my home. It's bigger and brighter thanks to my Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows. They're not big and bulky like vinyl composite windows. Fiberglass is stronger with narrower frames that brighten your home with more daylight and bigger views.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's 1:34. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Jonathan, still sounding the travel advisory northwest of town. Stacked and packed 75 southbound out of Ackworth into Kennesaw due to that right lane construction before Barrett Parkway exit 269. You can use Highway 41 to get you around that. Starting to see some volume fill in through Midtown and downtown as the afternoon creeps along. 75-85 southbound. Slowing just before 17th Street for the ride down to North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Blue skies and sunshine today, high 82. The northeast wind gusting 20 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight, lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 84. Starting to heat up on Thursday with a high of 87.
Storm Tracker radar checks clear. It is a gorgeous afternoon across metro Atlanta. 76 degrees in Vinings. We're at 74 in Lovejoy and 75 in Midtown. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America, from Anchorage, Alaska to Miami, Florida, across the country, coast to coast. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, be delighted to have you. If you want to find out the social media links, follow me on Instagram. You should always follow me on Instagram, but we've got a 24/7 feed where you can always listen to the show, the podcast, 4 Things to Know in the Afternoon. We've even got my daily email that you should subscribe to. Make it very easy for you. Just text the word Eric, my name, E-R-I-C-K, not E-R-I-C, not E-R-I-K, but E-R-I-C-K. Text that to the number 33777. You can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, all of it. The jobs numbers, I mentioned at the top of the show, they have been revised downward significantly. 911,000 job decline through March of 2025. Now, that's notable because the actual numbers of revisions down more than 50% higher than last year's adjusted revisions happened at the end of the Biden administration. Happened at the end of the Biden administration. This is not, this $911,000 revision downward is not a revision down during the Trump economy, but during the Biden economy. And that's being glossed over by a lot of people who are taking shots at Donald Trump on this. That's intellectually dishonest. This is the Biden administration's numbers. There's a relationship to the crime data. Let me talk about the jobs numbers first, though. There was a weird phenomenon last year where Democratic strategists would exasperatedly look at the cameras on TV and say, the data is actually really good. I don't know why people think the economy is bad. It's got to be Fox News. Philip Bump at the Washington Post would write these stories about how Fox News was convincing people everything was bad. And the data showed that everything was good. CNN did it, MSNBC did it, the New York Times did it, the Washington Post did it, ABC, CBS, NBC, God knows PBS and NPR did it. The data shows the economy is fine. People are being talked out of a good economy by Donald Trump. Donald Trump's telling people the economy is bad. No, what it was is that people were using their lived experience. That's something that the media used to talk about all the time, is we must believe people's lived experience. And people's lived experience was the economy was not good. And the media would say, oh, no, look at the data, look at the data, look at the data. The data shows it's good. The data shows the economy is roaring. The data shows inflation is down. Remember, it was transitory? We always knew it wasn't. It is true. It is a statement of fact that the U.S. economy outperformed everybody else. We had lower inflation than European countries. We had higher employment than European and Asian countries. We had more stable currency. We had a more stable economy. We had fewer job losses. We had a better stock market than China, than Europe, you name it. Our economy is better than theirs. But you know, a ship with a bullet hole in it taking on water slowly is still slowly sinking compared to a ship that is riddled with bullet holes. Just because our ship was sinking slower than their ships doesn't mean that the ship of state was sailing just fine. But they said the data was good. Well, it turns out the data was not good. The data was bad. had a downward revision of 911,000 jobs. Let me just read you this from CNBC. The labor market created far fewer jobs than previously thought, according to a Labor Department report Tuesday that added to concerns both about the health of the economy and the state of data collection. Annual revisions to non-farm payroll data for the year prior to March 2025 showed a drop of 911,000 from the initial estimates, according to a preliminary report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The total revision was on the high end of Wall Street expectations, which ranged from a low of around 600,000 to as many as 1 million. The revisions were more than 50% higher than last year's adjustment and the largest on record going back to 2002. On a monthly basis, they suggest average job growth of 76,000 less than initially reported. The numbers, which are adjusted from data in the quarterly census and reflect updated information on business openings and closings, add to evidence the employment picture in the United States is weakening. They should say was weakening because it was data from March of 2024 to March of 2025. The times that Americans were telling reporters that they didn't feel like the economy was strong, and reporters were saying, people don't feel like it, but the data sure shows it's a good economy. You know, I can look at the IP addresses of people who listen to my live stream in places like Washington, D.C., where I'm not on a radio station in Washington, D.C., but I've got a large live stream audience in Washington, D.C., and I can tell the White House and Congress generate a number of listens from the IP addresses. I mean, it's just public information. You can get the account. You can see where your data is coming from, and I can see that there are people listening in with computers, or they're attached to internet at like whitehouse.gov or house.gov or senate.gov. I can see the data. I don't know how many people are listening to my program who might be at CNN or Fox News or CNBC or NBC or MSNBC. I can't see that data. I don't know how many reporters are listening to me right now. But if you're a reporter listening to me right now, I want you to think about all of the stories from this past year where you all insisted the data showed the economy was good. The data showed the job market was good. The data showed everything was better than what people felt. And I want you to think about all the news stories about people who kept telling reporters they didn't feel good. They were worried about the economy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And how dismissive, it wasn't just Democrats, it was reporters. It was the analysts at the Washington Post. It was the Phil Bumps. It was the people on CNBC. It was the talking heads on CNN, the economists, who were like, yeah, people say it's not good. They just can't appreciate. They must still be stuck in their COVID mindset of when it was COVID, and we're out of COVID, and now it's time to recognize everything is good. And yet the data revised shows that the people were right and the reporters were wrong. The people were right. The Democrats were wrong. The people were right. The data was wrong. And now I want you to think about crime. Because the same thing's happening now. We're told about the FBI data, but did you know how the FBI has changed how they calculate the data? And some cities have given up sending in the data. Some cities have given up integrating their data with the FBI. Some cities are still trying to use the old system, and it's making all sorts of mistakes, and the data isn't right. And yet reporters, Phil Bump, the Washington Post, CNN, they're all like, crime is down in America. Crime is down because people aren't reporting it. When businesses know the police won't do anything, when the shoplifter shoplifts, the business stops reporting the crime. We have more and more businesses putting every product behind those plexiglass walls where you need the employee with the key. Go to a CVS or a Walgreens. In some places, it's literally every product on every shelf needs an employee to get the product. It's impossible to go shopping. And yet they want you to believe that the crime data shows that crime is down. Yeah, the labor data showed we had a great economy last year, and they've just revised that. They're not going to revise the crime data, though, because people aren't going to go retroactively complain about the crimes they didn't report the first time. When a city says we're not going to do anything about the crime that you report, why waste your time reporting? And yet the National Press Corps very arrogantly wants to lecture Americans that it's really just Fox News telling you things are bad. It's not that things are bad. It's really Donald Trump lying to you about crime. It's not that he's telling the truth and crime is bad, because the data is bad. The data's made up. The data's inconclusive. The data is not right. The data is phoned in. The data lies. And what reporters have decided to do is trust the data and not the people. Reporters, American reporters, stopped believing the American people. American reporters decided it was better to trust the data if the data makes the Democrats look good or the data makes the Republicans look bad than it was to trust Americans' perceptions, because perceptions are subjective and emotional and the data is the data. But what if the data is wrong? You trusted the jobs data and lied to the American people as a result because that data has now been revised. Or are you suddenly going to say it's the Trump administration lying about the data revision? Actually, I think what this shows is that the Trump administration was completely right in firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And do you want to know the wild, true thing that is still true? The actual revisions have gotten better than they used to be. Even as this last one was so out of line, historically, it's gotten better. But it's still not good. It could still be fixed. And it does tie in perfectly to the crime issue. Because the data collection, we know the data collection is bad on crime. We know there are cities that aren't keeping up with the changes the FBI made. We know there are victims of crime who aren't reporting the crimes. We know there are cities where the police are so overwhelmed and they can't address all the reports. You know, in my city, my wife accidentally set the alarm off at our house a couple of weeks ago. The alarm company called. Her phone was dead. She didn't take the call. I was traveling. I didn't answer the phone. It took the police 3 hours to show up for a purported home break-in at our house. 3 hours later, the police showed up. The police are overworked and overwhelmed, and they're not responding to everything. And a lot of people know it does them no good to report the crimes because the police can't do anything. They won't do anything, and it's just a waste of time to even bother. And yet the media wants to tell us everything is fine because the data says it's fine. Members of the press, would you please stop just relying on the data? Stop relying on it. Believe the American people when they tell you they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. They don't feel safe in big cities. They don't feel safe getting on the subway. They get harassed by homeless people, and you act like, well, that's just part of living in the big city. No person should have to fear being harassed or stabbed to death on light rail or a subway. No person should have to feel like they might be burned alive by a crazy person on a subway in New York City, something that's happened. No person in the United States should feel like they're unsafe at night in their community because we're Americans. We should not have to feel like we're in danger at night. We should be able to feel safe. It should be a constitutional right. My gosh, the amount of money we pay to fund a government that's supposed to keep us safe. I'm flabbergasted by the amount of reporters who can't get a clue here now. We keep having these revisions. We keep having the data that shows the data was wrong, and yet they don't want to believe the American people who don't feel safe and feel like the economy hasn't been performing. And by the way, there's a lesson here, too, for those of you who support the president and for the president's team. Don't do this either. Americans right now say they are feeling the effects of inflation, and that's actually the tariffs. Please stop lecturing us that the tariffs aren't having an impact when it is actually not just the data, but our own shopping experience that shows us. Stop gaslighting us, everyone. But you people in the press who keep lecturing us saying it's Donald Trump gaslighting, you know, it turns out you were the ones gaslighting us for an entire year, telling us the economy was good when the economy was not good. It was the data that was wrong and the American people that were right. Where is the apology from you, the press corps, to the American people for lecturing them that they actually had it better than they did, when in fact they were right the whole time? Will they get that apology? I won't hold my breath, but I kind of wish you guys would.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues out of Ackworth into Kennesaw with a right lane construction. 75 southbound Barrett Parkway exit 269. Highway 41 is a good alternate to get you around that. Also picking up a slow zone on the east side perimeter. 285 northbound slows leaving I-20. Getting up past Glenwood Road, exit 44. We're going to see if there's anything cooking there. If you're traveling downtown, you're seeing the brake lights fill in for the afternoon on 85 south of 400. Just sluggish, though, down to North Avenue. And you got that construction in the left lane, 316 eastbound at Cedars Road in Gwinnett. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. International Hot Rod Association and Durana Hybrid, reigniting racing and skilled trades, mentorship, education, and legacy. Get your tickets now at ihra.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Wednesday, starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, breaking stories from overnight, why Clark Howard says little gig work might not be such a bad idea for you. And remember, our Bonus Blitz contest continues on WSB.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
If your floors feel bouncy and uneven, it's time for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions Crawl Space Experts. Simply go to aquaguard.net and set up an appointment. It's fast and it's easy, and your floors will appreciate you. AquaGuard, the trusted local experts. Remember, AquaGuard.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Missed part of today's show? Catch it again in full with the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 live stream. Available at ericerickson.com. Stream enabled for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Mike Pence, the former vice president, has a new group, Advancing American Freedom. They've been around for a little while. I'm a big fan. I was supposed to go to their event at Kiowa Island in October to speak, and got made an offer I couldn't refuse to do something once in a lifetime and had bail on him. He's urging from his group Republican lawmakers to commit to steeper budget cuts to return federal spending to pre-pandemic levels. I wish he actually would. Tim Chapman, the president of the organization, has this letter out with Mike Pence behind it, saying it's actually time to get serious about cutting the spending. My buddy Chip Roy, who is running now for Attorney General in Texas, actually did an interview with the Daily Signal saying one way to do this is to actually embrace the spending levels from Joe Biden's administration and make it long-term. It's not a finalized proposal. Multiple Freedom Caucus members told the Daily Signal that a long-term stopgap funding bill or continuing resolution to further extend current spending could actually reduce the deficit and provide political stability. Essentially, Keith Self of Texas, Chip Roy, Andy Harris, and others are saying that if we just go to Biden-era level spending and we don't increase it all, we're actually going to be reducing the deficit. We're going to be reducing the deficit because we'll be spending what Joe Biden wanted to spend, and it's actually less than where some of the projections are. And with the revenue that's coming in from tariffs and elsewhere, we'll be on solid ground. They're not wrong. Rand Paul has for a very long time advocated going back to 2018 levels of spending. That's less than a decade ago. Can we not go back to 2018 levels of spending and actually, reduce the debt and the deficit? We need to. We're now topping $38 trillion in national debt. It's gone up $1.5 trillion. It's remarkable to me, the massive amount of spending that the Republicans, not the Democrats, that the Republicans are doing. And the solution might actually be to go back to the Democrats' level of spending, which was actually less than what we're spending right now. It's something that needs to be considered, and it's conservatives leading the way on this yet again in D.C. We've got to take the spending seriously, or taxes are going to go up, whether we think we have a tax problem or not. It's what's going to happen if we don't deal with the situation very soon. Hillsdale College would love for you to spend some time with them at no charge to you. You can take one of 40 different classes from Hillsdale College. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College, and you can take lots of different classes from them. They're all very good. And the way that they work is they're video lectures. They're 30-minute episodes. Depending on the class, depends on the number of episodes. Some are 10, some are 12 episodes, but the 30-minute lectures by Hillsdale's faculty, they're very good faculty, very good lectures, very entertaining and mentally stimulating for you. What you do is you go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up today at Hillsdale College, and you can really start making a meaningful, impactful difference on your mind with some of these great, great, great classes from Hillsdale College, whether it's the Federalist Papers or the Constitution or the Early American Republic or the Roman Republic or the Fall of Rome or C.S. Lewis or the writings of Shakespeare or Genesis and the Bible or chemistry or math or economics. They're all there. They're all available completely free. ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with them today.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Hey,
This is Robbie with Ben Hill Renovations, the preferred deck experts heard on the Home Fix-It Show. We're well known for our superior craftsmanship for decks and outdoor living spaces. And at Ben Hill Renovations, we provide that same attention to detail when it comes to roofing, siding, windows, and doors. So get your project started today and call to schedule a free estimate. Or you can stop by our showroom in Douglasville, online at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. A major ruling today from a Fulton County judge in a racketeering case against people trying to stop construction of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. WSB's Veronica Waters reports live with details on that ruling.
Yeah, Caiaccio, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Kevin Farmer says he's throwing out the racketeering case brought by the State Attorney General's office against 61 defendants who were accused of conspiring over years to block the building of Atlanta's Public Safety Training Center. He says the AG did not have the authority to bring those RICO charges or the arson ones in the indictment without permission from the governor. Now, some in the Stop Cop City movement were charged with violence and vandalism, while others faced allegations of simply passing out food or flyers. The judge says it is possible that the domestic terrorism charges against 5 of the defendants could remain in place. The judge says he's figuring out how to write his ruling and that in the meantime, he will allow the state to appeal. Reporting live, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
77 degrees in Atlanta, back into the mid-50s tomorrow morning. Wind as it heat up. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A DeKalb County firefighter killed in the line of duty on Monday is identified as Preston Fant, a husband and father of 5.
Fant was an extraordinary firefighter who served at this very fire station for 21 years.
Fant killed battling a warehouse fire on South Stone Mountain, Lithonia Road. He may be the first firefighter in DeKalb's history to die while fighting a fire. A former Grady Hospital nurse who's accused of sexually assaulting a 73-year-old patient is denied bond today. 55-year-old Chapel Lee is charged with rape, aggravated sexual battery, and tampering with evidence. The alleged victim, Eva Lay, died shortly after the incident occurred last October. A former Lithia Springs High School track coach pleads guilty to having sexual relationship with a student. 48-year-old Carrie Hood was arrested in December of 2023 for having improper sexual contact with a member of the school's track team. As part of the plea deal, he's sentenced to 25 years with 12 to serve. Once out of prison, Hood will have to register as a sex offender. A new effort to slow down speeders in Cobb County. Commissioners vote to buy 3 portable radar speed signs.
We have had some calls and complaints regarding speeding in school zones and neighborhoods.
Cobb Commissioner Joanne Burrell says the signs display a driver's speed and let them know when they're going over the speed limit. It's a subtle effort to slow them down. It is 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey, y'all. It's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It is 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not a good afternoon on the northwest part of town with a travel advisory on 75 southbound between Ackworth and Kennesaw due to that right lane construction approaching Barrett Parkway exit 269. That hopefully will clear within the next hour. Traveling into Midtown, 75-85 southbound, a few brake lights from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. And they had some earlier right lane construction in the cab 20 eastbound between Wesley Chapel Road and Panola Road. That's exit number 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny and breezy today. High 82. The northeast wind gusting 20 miles per hour.
Sunny and beautiful in Metro Atlanta this afternoon. 76 in Ackworth, also 76 in Tucker. It's 77 in Fairburn. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is grand. GRAND. Go to the WSB radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Thanks for tuning in. I need to dive into this report. It has made national headlines. Even CNBC was talking about it this morning, and it's not really a business story, except it is. And I want my starting point here be the New York Times for the story. Let me read you this from Dana Goldstein at the New York Times. The reading skills of American high school seniors are the worst they have been in 3 decades, according to new federal testing data, a worrying sign for teenagers as they face an uncertain job market and information landscape challenged by AI. In math, 12th graders had the lowest performance since 2005. The results from the National Assessment of Educational Progress, long regarded as the nation's most reliable gold standard exam, showed that about a third of the 12th graders who were tested last year did not have basic reading skills. It was a sign that, among other skills, they may not be able to determine the purpose of a political speech. In math, nearly half of the test takers scored below the basic level, meaning they may not have mastered skills like using percentages to solve real-world problems. The test scores are the first of their kind to be released since the COVID-19 pandemic upended education. They are yet another sign that adolescents are struggling in the wake of the virus when schools were closed for months or more. They also arrive at a time when Americans overall are abandoning printed text for screen time and video-dominated social media, which experts have linked to declining academics. The NAEP test results indicate a stark decline in performance. Only about a third of 12th graders are leaving high school with the reading and math skills necessary for college-level work. The findings echo grim statistics on the recent achievement of younger children. For about 10 years, declines have been most pronounced among low-performing students, indicating that the floor of academic achievement has fallen. NAEP scores among top 12th graders, those at the 90th percentile or above, have not changed significantly over the decades these exams have been given in either reading or math. Test score drops were probably caused in part by the disruptions of the pandemic, including illness, school closures, and remote learnings. The seniors included in the new federal data were in 8th grade when the virus transformed their lives. Even so, data from previous testing shows that learning declines, especially among struggling students, began years before the pandemic. I'm going to talk about myself here personally first. I mentioned my buddy Leland Vittert. He's got his new book out, and he sent me a copy of it, and now I'm trying to remember the title, and the name has gone. Born Lucky, that's it. A Dedicated Father, Grateful Son, and My Journey with Autism. Leland, by the way, he's a good guy, and it's a good book. I've been enjoying it, but man, I'm struggling to read. I read so much show prep material, I struggle to just sit down and read a book anymore. And on top of that, there's so many distractions these days. The Instagram reels, the Twitter feed, the Facebook feed, the text messages. It's a struggle. I get it. I'll condemn myself on this. I will say it's myself. But also I see it with my kids and their friends, the level of distraction from the internet and having phones and stuff like that. But you know what? I've mentioned before, both of my kids went to and my son is still there, a classical Christian school where they are forced to engage. They are forced to read, and they got to do real math, not Common Core math. And the kids who go to private classical education, Christian or not, classical education, Socratic method, lots of memorization in elementary school, analysis in high school, learning to do a thesis, having to stand up in class, answer questions, make arguments, things like that. They're outperforming everybody else. And you know who's really outperforming everybody else in America? Oh, they don't like to talk about it in the data. The homeschool kids. That's right. You see, when the local homeschool cooperative teaches kids, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, because there are some snotty people out there, and I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about the progressives who they despise the idea of homeschool. They're like, well, how are you going to teach your child chemistry when you don't know chemistry? Well, because you have something called a homeschool cooperative, and so the parent who does understand chemistry can teach the chemistry classes, the balancing the equations, and things like that. The parent who's good at math can teach the calculus, those sorts of things. You know, that's how homeschool actually works. It's not just the one parent teaching everything, because parents recognize there are some things they're not good at. During COVID, my wife realized that she could not be a homeschool teacher because if she did, our son would be murdered or she would be murdered by our son. So we stayed with the good small school that our kids go to. Some parents can homeschool, some can't. And some parents have to send their kids to public schools. And the kids who are at the top in the public schools are the kids who, more often than not, their parents are the most engaged in the school. We go to church with a couple. They sent their kids to public school. They wanted their kids in public school. They wanted to support the public school system. They thought it would be missional for their kids. Their kids, given the family's wealth, needed to be around kids not nearly as wealthy as their family. And their kids were in the top academic setting. The mom was at the school all the time, engaged, and those kids are doing quite well. The people whose parents are fully engaged and the kids get into the upper echelon academic programs of the public schools, they're still doing well. And you know, in places like New York, you got Mamdani coming in. He wants to shut those things down. He finds them anti-egalitarian. He wants to shut down the magnet schools and the advanced school programs for the gifted kids. Because the left believes in equal outcomes, not equal beginnings, unlike the right. We believe in equal beginnings and unequal outcomes because that's the way the world actually works. But our school system is failing the kids. And you know, only now are reporters willing to say that, yeah, It's probably a bad idea to have shut down the school system. Probably a bad idea to have shut it all down. You think? Of course it was a bad idea to have shut it all down. And you know what the data shows, and this is something that's not coming up in the reporting right now, and they'll get there eventually, they'll catch up. The Republican states that didn't shut down as long, their kids are outperforming the Democratic states that kept shut down for a very long time. Yeah. Do you know what states are performing the best in literacy, in reading? Those of you who are really progressive, you may need to sit down for this. Mississippi. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Mississippi. Yes, Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama and Tennessee. They're leading the nation in literacy. Yes, those red states, those Republican states, they've actually innovated in education. The blue states have gotten so involved with the teachers' unions, and the teachers' unions are the big impediment. The teachers' unions are the ones that are blocking the innovation. It was the teachers' unions that demanded that all the schools shut down and then lied about it. Said, we never wanted the schools shut down. That was Donald Trump. No, it wasn't Trump. It was the teachers' unions. Remember that they said they didn't want the teachers, they didn't want the schools to be reopened until they address social justice after George Floyd. We're going to keep them all shut down until we get social justice. They were hijacking the future of our kids. And guess what? Our kids' futures have been hijacked. The kids are dumber now, and the kids are dumber now because the teachers' unions shut down the schools, wouldn't let the schools be open, punished the parents. Remember in Northern Virginia, they were actually targeting parents who were hiring tutors for their kids. In the name of social justice in Northern Virginia, you got letters sent home if they heard that you were hiring tutors for your kids during COVID and coming in during lockdown to teach the kids, your kids were getting an unfair disadvantage, or unfair advantage rather. Everyone else was disadvantaged. Your kids should be too. Remember in Northern Virginia, there was no, I'm not making this up. You can go find the stories in the Washington Post and elsewhere. There were parents who were wealthy who hired tutors and invited their kids' friends, even those not of as wealthy means, to come in and get tutored together. They'd all do these group tutoring sessions. And what did the local ninnies do? They went and said, they're violating lockdown. Look at all these people that's home. We got to shut this down. They didn't want the kids to be educated. Teachers' unions are not about educating kids anyway. They're about comforts for the teachers, about luxuries for the teachers. And the kids fall further behind, except is it not wild? Mississippi. Y'all listen, I'm from the top to the bottom of Mississippi, I'm on in that state now. Super Talk FM, thank you very much for having me on all your stations. My sister lives in Mississippi. My niece and nephew live in Mississippi. My parents, my nieces, they all went to Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. My parents met at Mississippi College. Mississippi is not the state that I would expect to lead the nation in literacy. But it is. And it is because that state, not beholden to teachers' unions, decided to figure out what worked best for the students to learn to read. And they used a very, very data-driven approach, a very, very data-driven approach to decide what worked best. And in so doing, they decided that they were going to focus on real academic results. And so Mississippi's outperforming everybody in reading. Because they didn't care. They didn't care about upsetting the teachers. They cared about making things work for the kids, as they should have done. And too often, the teachers' unions, they decided that they needed to put the comfort of the teachers ahead of the education of the kids. And it's unfortunate. And we have the results. And we know that in the states where the teachers' unions ran supreme, the kids fell further behind than anywhere else. And it's just such a damning indictment that our kids were held hostage, and they don't even have the wherewithal now to apologize. That they can't bring themselves to say sorry. They can't bring themselves to acknowledge that they screwed up. And yet they did. They held our kids hostage. They attacked parents for wanting to advance our kids. They attacked the tutors who were willing to involve themselves. They tried to destroy homeschooling communities. And the only thing that is going to be our saving grace academically in this country moving forward are the parents who decided to put their kids' education ahead of support of public schools. At this point, we should just shut down all the public schools and give the parents the money to go find a school for their kids to go to, because they'll get better results than they're getting in the public schools, thanks to the teachers' unions.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. New travel advisory in West Atlanta. Crash blocking the far left lane and the far right lane. You're squeezing by into center lanes. 20 westbound Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 53, slowing you back toward downtown. Use MLK, Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, or Highway 78 as alternates. Traffic brought to you by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit peachpass.com and keep moving. I'm Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is grand. GRAND. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit, or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the portfolio x-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the portfolio x-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well. And I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
If your basement has any issues like condensation, wet floors and walls, or musty smells, that can be a sign that your home might be due for waterproofing. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help. Just visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection. Remember, AquaGuard.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. Dad, we're celebrating 86 years in Atlanta this month. And people are always asking how you've kept our prices so low.
Well, I haven't bought a new suit since 1982.
I don't think that's it.
We go straight to the source. Diamonds, jewelry, gemstones. There's no better value than D. Geller & Son.
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
All right, I got my AirPod Pro 3 and my Apple Watch Ultra 3 ordered during commercial break. Pre-orders available now. I have my original Apple Watch Ultra. I love my Apple Watch, actually. My son decided he wanted, I've got a very nice tag watch, and he's like, Dad, I don't want a digital watch. I want an analog watch. And he's like, can I have your old watch? It's like, sure. I mean, you'd get it when I died anyway. So I gave my son a watch, and now there are two kids at school, him and another guy in his class, and they've got old school, nice analog watches, which is kind of funny. And he's a big fan of having a real watch, one without a battery to be changed. And his is the one where the more you move, it winds itself. I like my Apple Watch Ultra. You know, the thing that I like about my watch is the silent alarm. My watch taps me awake in the morning, and there's no dinging. I turn mute on everything because I get so many messages. I mean, it would drive you insane if you had the amount of messages that I get from just people on Instagram, people on Twitter, people text messaging, emails, things like that. Constantly ding, 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 ding all the time. So I just keep it all turned off, minimize the notifications. But the silent alarm, it has this thing inside of it, and it can tap. And it wakes me up every morning by tapping on my wrist. So I don't wake anybody up in the house. Whenever I have an alarm go off, no one knows, just me, because I can feel my wrist tapping. And it's the most useful feature on the watch. It genuinely is a very useful feature, particularly when I don't want to wake my wife up because I get in trouble if the alarm goes off and she's still sleeping. It just taps me. When I was doing 4 a.m. Wake-up calls to do 5 a.m. early morning Fox and Friends hits, it came in very, very useful. I rarely do those anymore, thankfully. I'm not a morning person, y'all. I would rather stay up all night long than get up early in the morning. I hate mornings. Now, I got to tell you about Swiss America. You know, we're going to find out what the Fed does with interest rates. Some banks are saying they hope for a 50 basis point or 0.5% interest rate cut. I have no idea. What I do know is that the Feds are trying to get you to spend your money without using cash because they want to be able to control your purchases. If there's a secret war on cash going on, Swiss America is warning you about it. You get their free report about the secret war on cash. It is completely free. You call or text 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency as well. So you call or text them 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can just text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646, or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Let Swiss America help you. They can give you their report completely free. You can see what they mean by the secret war on cash. You can let them help you protect your hard-earned finances today. 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com/Eric. Swiss America can help you. Their report's completely free. Message and data rates may apply.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. It's just in. Pebblebrook High School in Cobb County goes into a brief code red lockdown today after an altercation involving a weapon at school. All 3 students involved are now in police custody. The school district says staff acted quickly to secure the building and all students are safe. No injuries are reported. DeKalb County firefighter killed in the line of duty on Monday as identified today as 21-year-old veteran Preston Fant.
I ask you to keep his wife and 5 children and his entire family, as well as the DeKalb County Fire Rescue family, in your prayers and thoughts.
DeKalb County Fire Chief Darnell Fulham says Fant was killed battling a warehouse fire on South Stone Mountain Lithonia Road. In addition to firefighting skills, he was also specialized in swiftwater, high-rise, and trench rescues. A judge plans to dismiss racketeering charges against more than 60 defendants accused of trying to stop construction of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Kevin Farmer says Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr lacked authority to secure the racketeering indictment without the governor's permission. The judge is giving the state a chance to appeal. More than 1 million Ford and Lincoln vehicles are recalled. Brian Clark reports affected owners will be notified by mail.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said Ford is aware of 18 accidents but no injuries because of rear-view cameras that go blank or distort images while in reverse.
The recall includes vehicles from the 2015 through 2019 model years. It is 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
The most successful Metro Atlanta home builders and contractors all share a special secret. Randall Brothers is the preferred building partner trusted by pros, delivering expert guidance, quality materials, and accurate delivery. Randall Brothers will keep your project on time and on budget while providing the widest selection of materials in the city. Dave Baker here for Randall Brothers. Widest selection, industry expertise, accurate, no-hassle deliveries. RandallBrothers.com.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOURwealth.com.
Did you know that eating healthier and more delicious food is not only good for you, but affordable as well? Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. At the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real, delicious bread loaded with fiber and nutrients from real whole grains. A healthy, delicious, and affordable solution for your family. Eating real bread will satisfy your hunger and greatly reduce the amount of food you need to eat. Plus, your improved health from eating real bread may even reduce the need for frequent doctor visits. That's what Real Bread did for our family. 2 doctor visits with 9 kids in 25 years. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. So if you're struggling with bowel issues, high cholesterol, weight gain, warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, take the first steps to a healthier, more affordable life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Getting very busy out there, Bill. Travel advisory in West Atlanta. Right now, they're holding all lanes. Hopefully just a temporary red alert, but nobody getting by. 20 westbound, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 53. Already slow back to Lowry Boulevard. Use MLK, Joseph E. Boone, or Highway 78 as alternates. And a travel advisory in Clayton County. Crash 75 southbound at Forest Parkway, exit 237 and 2 left lanes. You're stacked up back into Hateville. Use Highway 1941 or I-675. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny and breezy today. High 82. The northeast wind gusting 20 miles per hour.
Sunshine all over Metro Atlanta this afternoon. 73 in Lawrenceville, 76 in Douglasville, 79 in Stockbridge. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very, very happy to have you. I want to play a clip from CNN, Aaron Burnett show. The mayor of Evanston, Evanston, Indiana, I think it is, talking to Aaron Burnett and in Evanston, Illinois, about immigration and protecting members of his community.
Publicly, that ICE operations are imminent. And I should also state that you are running for Congress as a Democrat, as you and I sit here speaking. But, Mayor, you say this is imminent. So what else do you know? Or are you also basically in the dark? I mean, what do you know about what's about to happen over the next few hours and days?
Well, first of all, I am absolutely in the dark. The Trump administration wants to keep us guessing, wants to use our uncertainty to keep us afraid. But the reason that we communicated with our residents this morning is that I got information from a senior state official last night indicating that they had good intel, that they thought it was likely that ICE would be coming to Evanston today and in the coming days. And we just felt that we had a responsibility to let our residents know so they could work to protect themselves. We've been doing everything we can to protect our residents from before Donald Trump took office, passing strong sanctuary laws to make sure our police are not cooperating with federal civil immigration enforcement, protecting our data, switching off our license plate cameras when we learned that that data was being shared. But we also need to make sure our residents know as much as possible so they can take the steps they need to protect themselves.
Is that not wild to you that this mayor is bending over backwards to protect our residents, not our voters, not our citizens, not our real taxpayers, but our residents, which she means the illegal immigrants as well, even switching off license plate readers so that illegal aliens can hire. The entirety of the progressive worldview is upside down from sanity. That gets me back to this clip from Van Jones, who I want to say he's going after Charlie Kirk, who made remarks that some find incendiary, and I suspect that at the times, and listen, y'all don't know Van Jones, and I do, and I like him. I find him to be a very caring person, even as I disagree with him on a lot of things. I do think his heart tends to be in the right place, and I suspect he did not know that this man on this bus or on this light rail train actually was caught afterwards talking about what he did to that white girl. He got that white girl. And it makes it very much sound like the attack was motivated by this being a white girl who sat down in front of him, the Ukrainian refugee. Listen to this, though, because there's a larger point here.
Let me just say a couple of things. One is, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is, you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened was horrible, but it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him. What people mention is the horror of what happened to this young woman.
To defend Charlie Kirk, actually, it was the murderer who mentioned the woman's race first. Immediately after killing her. It was the murderer who did. And I do suspect Van didn't know that at the time because that came out after that clip. But I will say again that, as I said yesterday, that were it a white man murdering a black woman on that light rail, we would be having multi-day national conversations about race on CNN and everywhere else in the media. Why not the George Floyd thing? Well, I hate to say this, but George Floyd wasn't a good guy. That's why we didn't get all this world-changing thing with the George Floyd Act and everything else. George Floyd wasn't actually a good guy. He shouldn't have been killed. The knee should not have been on his neck for as long as it was, but George Floyd wasn't a good guy. George Floyd was actually not a good guy. And there is a lot of evidence that the fentanyl in his system, the drugs in his system, played a role in his death. Here's the problem. Van says we don't know how to deal with people suffering like this crazy homeless murderer was. He's not wrong, just so you understand. He's not wrong when it comes to progressive public policy, because I know how to deal with people who are suffering like that. You put them in mental institutions and you medicate them and you work on getting them better. But progressive public policy has decided to cede our public spaces to the homeless insane. And that's a failure of progressives. And when you point it out, you're shouted as a racist. CNN this morning, I came on, when CNN hasn't been covering the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, because pretty nonstop they've been covering the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, trying to tie it to Donald Trump. CNN actually had a remarkable story on Wolf Blitzer's show earlier about how young black men are returning to traditional churches. Young black men are returning to traditional churches. Why? Because of the structure and stability of traditional religion. Now, I'm not diving deep into theology here, so don't tune me out for those of you who think I get too Jesus-y sometimes. This is just a basic point. There's something called ecclesiology. Ecclesiology is a lot to do with the structure of a church, and part of that is the liturgy of the church. When you go to a church, in many churches, not the non-denominational strip mall church necessarily, but you go to a church like I'm in the PCA, the Presbyterian Church in America, or most famously, you go to a Catholic or Greek Orthodox church, there is a defined order of worship where certain things are going to happen at every church. In my church, I go to what is more high church than low church. I don't wear a suit when I go to church. I don't wear a suit when I go to church because there are a lot of people at our church. It's kind of a high church. It's one of the oldest buildings in town. And I don't want people to feel uncomfortable if they come to church and they don't have a suit. And so I consciously, I had to have this talk with my son, who was asking why I don't wear a suit to church. I don't wear a suit to church because I know that I'm well known in my community. And if Erick Erickson is comfortable in his church not wearing a suit, then I should be comfortable at his church too, not having to wear a suit. And so I do it by design. I don't want people to feel like you got to come dressed to the nines to come to church. I'd rather you come to church than to say, I can't go, my suit's not pressed. So I'm not going to wear a suit. So you can feel comfortable not wearing a suit. But when you come, there's an order of worship, and there's going to be a welcome, and there's going to be an opening psalm, and there's going to be an opening hymn. And then there's going to be a time of private, quiet reflection, and the preacher's going to say something about sin, and there's going to be some speaking back and reading back, and oral reading of Scripture, and a part of the catechism you will read responsively, and then there will be a corporate prayer, and then there will be a time of giving, and there will be a choir anthem, and the kids will be dismissed to children's church, and then there will be another hymn, and then the preacher will preach, and then there's a benediction, and it follows the same order of worship every time. And young black men are going to organize churches like that because they want the structure. And you know why they want the structure? They want the structure because it's been missing from their lives. They want the attachment because it's been missing from their lives. The policies of white progressives going back to the Johnson administration have destroyed the black community. And you know, if you point that out as a white person, the white progressives scream that you're a racist, because they would rather scream racism than deal with accountability for the problems that they have caused in the black community, where the black community has the highest rates of divorce, the highest rates of births out of wedlock, the highest rates of incarceration, and on and on and on it goes. The data is just overwhelmingly not good for the black community. And the black politicians and the white progressives who are on the Democratic Party side scream that you're a racist when you point it out. It's like all the gun violence in Chicago. You have all the gun violence in Chicago, and the white people say, why can't we do something about it? And the white politicians say, that's a conversation for their community. Is it not your community too? You don't want the gangbangers in your society, and yet, no, it's their community. And the way they've effectively tried to deal with the problem is to pretend the problem doesn't exist. Zoran Mamdani, who is running for mayor of New York City, you know how he's decided to get rid of gang violence in New York? Listen to this.
Let me ask you about a bunch of different policies just to kind of get your thinking out there. If city council legislation to abolish the NYPD gang database were to pass, would you support and sign that?
I have supported that proposal. It's one that I've supported because of the vast dragnet has meant the inclusion of New Yorkers on the basis of whether they go out late, photos they put on social media, so much of the facts of life of being a young New Yorker. And yet it then becomes a mark of suspicion. And it is a concern of mine that we do not live up to, of all people, Eric Adams's words in 2021, who said that New Yorkers need not choose between safety and justice. Mm-hmm. There's no question that we have to take gangs extremely seriously. And yet I find that a database that includes New Yorkers on such bases is one that doesn't actually do exactly that.
Okay.
Right. That's his escapism. He's making a claim that doesn't hold up to scrutiny. I've seen this game played before in my own city, where before I was on city council in my city, we had a mayor who got rid of our gang database and had the gang task force that investigated gangs. And you know what he did? When he got rid of the gang database and the gang task force that investigated the gangs, he declared there was no gang problem anymore in the city. There were, after all, no more gang arrests. There were, after all, no more people going into the gang database. Therefore, they solved the problem of gangs in the city. That's progressive Democratic thinking. where they want to wipe all this stuff away. Why are young black men joining gangs? Because they're looking for father figures. They don't have any in their communities. But by God, you can't talk about that because that's racism to talk about that. The left has decided to scream racism to avoid having to talk about any problem, including a crazy homeless man left to wander the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina, murdering a girl in part in his own words because she was white, and then screaming at people like Charlie Kirk, myself, and others for daring to say, yes, the guy killed her because she was white. He said so. And if it was reversed, if a white man murdered a black woman on that train, there would be national conversations about it. You don't believe me? Look at Daniel Penny killing the black guy on the subway in New York City. They arrested and tried Daniel Penny, who was protecting the people on the subway, and somehow the press and the Democrats made him the bad guy. For being brave enough to stand up to protect other people, he was vilified by not just the Democrats, not just progressives, but the press itself vilified the young man for doing a good thing, protecting people from a homeless man. And one of the things that progressives said was, we are expecting to get harassed by homeless people on the New York subway. Progressives have given up trying to fix the problems. Now they say, like Van Jones does, God bless him, we just don't know what to do. No, we know what to do. You institutionalize them. You bring back the mental institutions and you put them there with state funding. You medicate them. You give them the help they need and maybe get them in a position to go back and rejoin society. Instead, the left said, you know what? We should mainstream these people into society. We should put them in halfway houses in normal neighborhoods where they can roam free, poop in people's backyards, and commit murders and crimes instead of forcing them into medications that will solve their problems. We have decided it was compassionate to not help them because it's cruel to actually force them to take the medications that get them in their right mind. That's the perversion of progressivism in society, where doing the right thing is bad and racist, and not doing anything at all and causing the rest of society to have to deal with the problem. That's just compassion in action. We have ceded society to the criminal and the insane element and decided it's the cost of civilization where it shouldn't be. And when Donald Trump and the Republicans try to fix it, they scream racism. There's nothing racist about it. You know what's racist? A young white woman from Ukraine sitting down on a light rail system, and the black man behind her deciding because she's a white girl who sat down in front of him, he's going to murder her. And that, my friends, again, his words, not mine, his words. I can't actually say the word he used because you can't say it on radio. But that's what that guy did, and we're supposed to pretend that race wasn't involved. We're supposed to pretend this guy was just mentally ill. No, we should recognize he should have been committed somewhere instead of constantly let out to be a threat to other people. The law-abiding citizens of this nation should not have to live in fear of situations like this. We have institutions we can put them in. We should put them there. We should reopen the institutions closed down.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center making progress with this crash in West Atlanta, I-20 westbound, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 53. They had all lanes shut down trying to get it off to the side. The good news is lanes are starting to reopen, but delays out of downtown. Travel advisory in Clayton, crash 2 left lane, 75 southbound and Forest Parkway, exit 237. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $358 million. Now with bigger jackpots, better odds, and a built-in multiplier. Drawings every Tuesday and Friday. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Findlay Roofing is your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. FindlayRoofing.com.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
Switch your termite protection to Breda Pest Management, and your rate is locked in for 10 years. And Breda's termite guarantee is unmatched in the industry.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. When you have plumbing problems, you need it done quickly and on your schedule. Superior Plumbing will work around your schedule night and day. They've served Atlanta for almost 40 years. They want to be your plumber for life, and they'll earn your trust by doing the work correctly the first time. So do what I did and call Superior Plumbing night or day to have a trusted plumber fix your plumbing issues.
Superior, the honest one. Call 770-422 Plum.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
My whole identity had been wrapped up in being a soldier. To have that so violently ripped from me when I was wounded, I was lost for a very long time. When Wounded Warrior Project came into my life, being around the other warriors, people that had similar experiences that I did, it was a game changer for me. Having King join the group, that was the beginning of a really good friendship. It's a good time.
I first heard about Wounded Warrior Project through CQ. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I qualify. But having been a part of it, it's kind of taught me that it's not just the wounds that you can see, but it's those that you can't.
When you do something like a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project and come together from different walks of life, man, the growth is incredible. If not for Wounded Warrior Project, I really don't think that I'd be here today.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello, welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Inflation basically wiped out all wage gains last year. This is new data that has come out from the Census Bureau today. I want you to think about this. It goes back to the jobs numbers. Americans were telling reporters, anyone who would listen, they didn't feel good about the economy. And the reporters and the Democrats were telling everyone last year that actually the economy was really good. You were just being talked out of believing it was good because of Donald Trump. Now the Census Bureau comes out today with its recap of inflation data from the prior year, and not only did the nation actually not gain as many jobs as claimed, in fact, 911,000 jobs less than we thought, but now it turns out inflation actually wiped out wage growth last year, except for the highest income earning Americans. That's actually really bad. So essentially no one got ahead last year except the really wealthy. And yet the media wanted to tell us it was all well and good. It wasn't. And the American people knew it was the reporters who did not. I'll have more on this in the 4 Things to Know this afternoon podcast that you can subscribe to. Right now, I need to tell you about Vision Computers. If you go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE, they can build you a computer They can save you money in the process of building you that computer. They can upgrade your existing computer, and you get their world-class customer service where they give you a special phone number. If you ever have a question or a problem, you can call the phone number, and in 15 seconds or less, someone answers and you talk to a real human being. You never have to do the IT ticket. You just call and talk to a real human being. Call them at 404-COMPUTER or go to visioncomputers.com. If you've got an in-house IT person, God bless you. If you can't afford to have someone on staff and you're using a managed IT system, you should call Vision wherever you are nationwide, from Hawaii to Maine, from Alaska to Florida. Call Vision at 404-COMPUTE. They might be able to save you some money, and your employees will get an actual human being to talk to who will pick up the phone in 15 seconds or less, instead of having a ticket system that you got to file and hope somebody calls you back. So you have more uptime, less downtime, your employees stay more productive. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You can save even more money, and they can keep you online. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Get the WSB radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
How many jobs have you had in your adult lifetime? Do you know that it's totally common that people will have more than a dozen different jobs from in their early 20s to their early 50s? And you got a 50-50 chance that at the jobs you were at, they offered you a 401k. And so it's not at all unusual for somebody to have half a dozen or more different employer-sponsored 401ks. And you can lose track of that money and ultimately, well, practically lose that money. So I want to tell you, keep track of the 401k you may have had in an employer and roll it into your new employer plan or into your own IRA. Don't let the money stay behind and get lost. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio. News is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Our top local story, a scare today at Pebblebrook High School.
A Cobb County School District spokesperson confirms that Pebblebrook High School in Mableton went into a brief code red lockdown this afternoon after a fight and weapon was reported on campus. The spokesperson said the school's gun and bomb-sniffing dogs were not on campus at the time of the incident, but staff acted quickly to secure the building. They're encouraging parents and students to report safety concerns to the district tip line. Last month, Cobb police arrested a man who allegedly broke into the building multiple times outside of school hours. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
80 degrees in Atlanta. Another cool morning tomorrow. When does it start to heat up again? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Racketeering charges may be dropped against dozens of Atlanta Public Safety Training Center protesters. WSB's Veronica Waters reports live. A Fulton County judge issues a ruling today. And we'll get back to Veronica here in just a moment. A firefighter killed in the line of duty in DeKalb County is identified today as a father of 5.
The firefighter fatally injured in a Lithonia warehouse fire is being remembered as an extraordinary team member who died doing what he has done heroically for 21 years.
While making an interior fire attack, master firefighter Preston Vance was over